It's Twitch, right? Okay. All right. I think we're live. Yeah, we live. What's going on, everybody? This is Honey Dijon. Welcome to another Honey Dijon stream. Well, this is a first. This is a first for me. I have not done a inside Star Citizen reaction, so I figured, hey, why not? Could be fun. Whatever. So I was like posted an hour ago. I figured, hey, let's check it out. Let's see what they got. I mean, yeah, let's do it.
Hey everybody. In our last episode of the quarter, we wanted to mix things up and take a sneak peek ahead at something coming your way while we're out on hiatus. It's the next concept ship from industrial powerhouse Misk and the first dedicated refinery craft of its kind. Let's take a look.
We've got quite a few ships already in the Misk manufacturer lineup.
You have the Prospector, you have the Starfarer,
Hull series.
but we wanted to have dedicated entry-level ship into the refining gameplay career for ship owners.
But why create a whole new ship? Why not just use like
The Misk Expanse fills a
Freelancer or
great
something?
hole in the gameplay loop of the entire mining refining cycle, because currently you go out to the far reaches of space, you mine some rocks, you fill up your capacity,
that looks
then
so
you
cool.
yourself have to trek all the way back to the grain station or somewhere like that to refine, and then you have to trek all the way back to go continue mining, whereas the Expanse can be the middleman,
The Expanse.
where
I
you
like
take
the
on
name.
board mined goods, you processes it, and then you can either sell it yourself or you can transfer it back to a cargo ship and they complete the whole gameplay loop. The Expanse is the starter ship in the sort of refinery tier. We have refineries on other ships such as the Starfarer, but they are more specialised into purely doing fuel, where the Expanse has a bonus over them. Is it has what we call reactors on them, and at a very simplistic level, one reactor is one refinery process, and the Expanse has 6 of them on board, so it allows you,
You know what
to
I think? I always kind of consider this gameplay, right? Like, I think Star Citizen is like missing out on a key mechanic that could be implemented in the Star Citizen world, right? So I like the idea of going out and gathering stuff. I think that's kind of cool because it makes its own gameplay within itself, right? Like, oh, excuse me, sorry, had to pick something up. Yeah, so like when they showed the new gameplay where there's minables next to the river, right? Which I think that's pretty awesome, and I think the same thing can be applied to all of this, right? So we have things like quantum fuel, we have things like hydrogen fuel and stuff like that. I really feel like players should be able to go out, mine these things, like even if it's just like what am I trying to say here? Like, I feel like all these things that we have in the verse, we should be able to go out, get raw materials, and create all these things for ourselves, right? Like, nobody really wants to. There are certain people who want to be able to do those kind of things, I think. So I think this is cool, and I hope it's a step in the direction of being able to just go out in the world and mine your own resources if you have the right tools. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but we're gonna keep going.
potentially do 6 entirely different refinery processes simultaneously, or for maximum output you can do 6 of all the same type and really sort of improve your bandwidth, so to speak, of refinery. We picked Misk because it sort of fits that industrial aesthetic.
You've got the rounded front nose of the ship, but then what you'll notice, you've got the well, not massive, but you've got the big shoulders.
I do like the design of the ship,
and that's also on the Starfarer, and so we wanted to keep that, so it's sort of basically big airflow, big intakes, straight to an engine, and then back out.
It does give Prospector vibes.
When people look at the back, there are certain visual elements there that you'll see that are common throughout the ship manufacturers. You know, it's sort of the ball engine almost, very sort of defined fins that surround that spherical engine.
That's a cool looking ship, dude.
And also the other sort of main feature is the 8 pods. There are 4 on either side. It really gives this ship a unique look and silhouette. And there's no mistaking this ship.
I hate how cramped it looks, though.
People might be familiar already with sort of
there's not a lot of
MISC interiors are
space on the
generally sort of a letterbox kind of viewpoint. You know, it's very widescreen. You know, you've got that basically when you're sat in the pilot seat. You've got all your instrumentation laid out in front of you. It's all quite sleek, holographic. It's still sort of quite compact because it is a one-man ship.
That's why.
Leading from the cockpit, it'll take you into just a small living section. You know, so bed, locker, that kind of stuff. And then progressing to the rear of the ship is just a really small sort of like operations room, basically, where you can interface with the refinery section. And there's a little window there, and you can sort of see through into the gubbins, and you'll have a little bit of a display that you'll be able to do some of your interaction with. It's split level, so
I mean, in some of my gameplay earlier, I was playing in one of the freelancers, right? And they have the same kind of screen. So this is what I'm trying to say, man. Like, I wish, like I said while I was playing, I wish that screen was usable. I want to know, like, what that screen is for in the Freelancer Max. Like, what do I use that screen for? It looks like it's supposed to be something, but what is it supposed to be? So, I mean, I hope some of the stuff that you're talking about as far as in this particular explanation, I hope some of that translates over to the Freelancer Max.
Get out of the ship, basically you'll enter into a really sort of compact and bijou lift, or an elevator, as some people say. That'll take you down to the lower floor. Jared, you might want to call it the ground floor. And then outside down a ramp, basically. So yeah, quite small. I mean, I think the ship is going to be kind of cool. I mean, obviously it's a niche role, and it's not going to appeal to every player. But I think as a ship and as an owner, I think people are really going to like it. I think they're probably going to sort of really start to gel with it. It's got a lot of personality,
Yeah,
I would say.
That's true.
And I hope that people, A, will enjoy what it does, but B, will also sort of enjoy the visuals of the ship and just flying around in it and just having that sort of one-man support experience.
The MISC Expanse is the first dedicated refinery ship for Star Citizen, an ideal place for beginners looking to start making their way in this career, intended partner of the Prospector mining vehicle, and you can learn more about it in the coming weeks on the RobertSpaceIndustries.com website. But up next, Alpha 317 is right around the corner, so here's a look at many of the new features, updates, and bug fixes on their way with the patch report. Let's start things off with the big mammer jammer, the main event, the headliner, ship-to-ship player refueling. This new support profession makes its debut in the upcoming Alpha 317, with a new and exciting user interface allowing players to fuel up their Starfarer and Starfarer Geminis, head out into the verse, make an agreement for a type of fuel and price, hook up using the docking interface you may already be familiar with, and then don't forget to manage the flow properly. This step is the crucial difference between a satisfied customer and an unfortunate repair bill.
That's one of the things
now,
I'm not really
ship-to-ship
too excited
refueling
about.
arrives along with a rebalancing of fuel efficiencies and the removal of temporary fuel scoops from many spacecraft to change life in the verse from this point forward. But Disco, that's not the biggest feature in Alpha 317, you may be saying. Who are you, my boss? I'm talking about my boss. Maybe the biggest feature of Alpha 317 is the Dynamite combination of loot generation updates and selling, where a wide array of new items, some formerly found in shops, some from the depths of Star Citizen's history, and some entirely brand new to the Persistent Universe, can now be discovered during your travels, and then, along with a huge selection of items and resources you're already familiar with, now successfully be sold to vendors, allowing you finally to find your fates and fortunes while forging the fantastic, fabled...
Let's go back and look at that, right? Let's go back and look at that. Dude, really? Really? $400? Are you kidding me? First of all, I mean, like, come on. Come on, man. Some of these armors are like at least 2,000 AUEC. You could at least, I mean, maybe they feel like, I guess because you can really like overkill the grind and just like, well, but they kind of have a built-in system to where the price will go down if you try to sell too much. I'm so convinced that Star Citizen wants you to be broke, man. Dang. But look at this. Especially if considering like it's 2,000 AUC probably. And I'm just saying roughly. It's on average, right? Because some of these armors are 3. Some of these armors I think are 5. Rarely, there's nothing in the verse that costs probably less than 1,000 AUC. I mean, when it comes to like outfits and armor and guns and things of that nature. So I mean, yeah. Well, this is at Grimhex. Maybe there's some kind of economy to it all, to where, you know, Grimhex you probably won't get the best prices. Maybe it's the most consistent though. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited for selling in general because like I have a shit ton of things in my inventory that I want to sell, and if it's now to the point where you can find more rare loot easier,